coming at you with a massive attack. I'll leave you flat on your back, smack you with my mighty tackle. Bones will pop, snap, and crackle. This is a blitzkrieg, son. Sit down, I already won. Punishment hasn't begun. Just let me reload my gun of ones. It's time to get off my pitch. Here I can help you with this. My shadow friend got a shiv, and he likes when you resist. Time to be quiet, don't snitch. I love the thrill of the risk. On day I spin like a disc. You know it deep in your soul. It's in your blood to roll. Bet every dollar you own. It's in your blood to roll. Man, this boy's out of control. It's in your blood to roll. You got some dice to roll. It's in your blood to roll. You know it deep in your soul. It's in your blood to roll. Bet every dollar you own. It's in your blood to roll. Man, this boy's out of control. It's in your blood to roll. You got some dice to roll. It's in your blood 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 to roll.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Big O Div 3 recap on our new home, which is just my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Serpickles, and with me is MisspelledTree. How you doing, Tree?
I'm doing good. I had a relaxing weekend for once. Little work, which is nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, this
How about you?
weekend was the first time I've seen my family all in one room in like 8 months.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Melbourne has now had some restrictions lifted, and myself, my parents, and my brother and his partner went out for dinner for like the
sounds so
second
nice.
time this year ever.
Yeah, I haven't seen my family since March.
Yeah,
But it's the same thing, so I get it. God, that sounds so good. Good for you.
it was nice. It was kind of weird though, being like just out at a restaurant where like at your table, each like group of people at the restaurant, which were spaced apart like properly and everything, but we're each not
Yeah.
wearing masks because you have to eat and drink, and then the staff
Yes.
come up fully masked. It's just like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. 2020. What a
20,
weird
yeah.
trip this year's been.
Yeah, what a weird time. Well,
Speaking
Let's-
of weird,
let's talk about Div
Let's get
3.
into
I've got Div 2 open. Why do I have Div 2 open? Oh, right, that's why I have Div 2 open. Because I was watching the Div 2 recap, and I went in and replaced a player mid-recap, and then forgot to switch over. Here we go, here's Div 3. So, let's jump into the first game. Shaitan against Zygmunt in a 2-0 win to the Lizards.
this is impressive. Dealing with all that mighty blow and tackle and not losing a single skink. I think there was one badly hurt, and that's it.
Yeah, there was
In
one
fact-
MNG, and that was it.
Oh no, I misread that for a second. I thought for a second I'd seen that there was a cas caused by a skink, which would mean the skinks caused as many cas but that's wrong. I just read that wrong.
That'd tilt a Chorf coach so hard, like getting cased by a skink.
Yeah. Yes, good win for Shaitan.
Yeah, it's a
Really good
really
win.
good win. For most teams in this div, the big bad Chorf team is the worst matchup for them. I think pretty much any team that comes out of that with minimal or no damage and a win is just ecstatic about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say, like, I feel like Zygmunt is falling behind where I expected for them now, because the team is pretty good. I mean, the team is very close to equivalent to the big Chaos Dwarf team in the league, which is Monster's team. There's not much that's missing that team has.
Yeah.
And it's not getting as many wins as I thought it would.
Yeah, I think they had a decent start, but they've fallen off a bit in the last few weeks. Let's have a look at some stats. So a lot of blocks in this game, 44 to 50. Probably just a lot of punching back and forth between Chorfs and Saurus, considering There was only 4 KOs inflicted. Wait, that means that the one MNG'd skink did it to itself or a foul, I guess.
Yeah, could be a foul because there is a dirty player.
Yeah, and there was an expulsion. So there was at least one foul. SPP-wise, not much on either side.
No.
Only the MVP for the Chorfs. Bit unfortunate for them.
I've only just thought that through. Like, if you've been hitting skinks and not removing anything, and then the one removal you get sent off for, I can imagine it being a bad moment.
Yeah.
Of mood.
Have a look at the dice log. Dodge dice not good for the lizards, but so much tackle that that's kind of to be expected.
Injury dice great. That's the key one, I think.
Yeah, injury dice are amazing.
Especially when you think some of those are going to be stunty.
Armor probably better than you'd expect. I can't remember how much claw Zygmunt had. We'll have a look at the team in the moment.
Not that much. So it depends how many of those are taken by Saurus. There's one claw.
Yeah, GFI is also pretty good. I mean, there's only one catch, and it failed, but pretty good D6s for the lizards. How are their block dice? Pretty abysmal. A lot of pushes and a lot of the bottom end.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Really not great. Because, yeah, both downs are never going to knock down a Chaos Dwarf or a Bull Centaur, so the only things they're actually knocking down, the pieces you want to knock down.
There is a decent amount of knockdowns in this block list. Who is this? Tank Tech. You need to fire that piece. 1 in 9, pushing both down, skull and push, 1 in 9. And then a dub skull. Well, actually, he did better on the second page, but yeah. Block dice for the Chorfs, better than the lizards, but just kind of pretty much average. But both downs are almost universally good for them, so not too worried about that. How were their D6s? Anything standing out? Their injury dice are also pretty good.
Yeah.
They took 1 MNG on a blocker.
The lightning bolt was probably part of the 2-0. You assume there's a good lightning bolt in there.
Yeah. That's a lot of GFIs, but
yeah, that's presumably a lot of Bull Centaur GFIs. But with that number, I'm betting there was a snake or a sure feet fail in there somewhere.
Yeah. 2 failed KOs as well, so
yeah,
might have been pretty crucial. Didn't actually see this game. Let's have a look at the teams.
Yeah, the pickups are normal because that's almost certainly the Bull Centaur. Oh, no, it's actually 3, isn't it? I always forget it's actually 3. Yeah, okay, that's bad.
Where is... Who am I looking for? Shytown, there he is. So we had an MNG'd skink. Which was the already agi-busted skink that stuck around. I'm kind of surprised it stuck around.
I wonder if it was kept for this game because of block. But I don't know, it's a lot of TV.
Yeah. We had a level on Show Tank. I don't know how to say that. Something like that. Who now has Sprint. So we've effectively got a, pseudo movement 9.
That's great. That's a good skink.
Yeah.
It's kind of, we've talked about it before. The only sort of slightly awkward thing is like, that could be a 1-turn piece, but it's a sure hands piece, so you also want to use it to pick up.
Yeah.
But good.
But even then, that gives you that extra 1 square of movement if you're trying to just, drive in general, push into the opponent's half.
Oh, extra movement's always good. Like, extra movement's literally never bad, so...
Saurus is still kind of struggling to develop, but hopefully they'll get there and live long enough.
Did get 1 casualty on Oyox, so that's only 1 SPP away now.
Nice. Okay, hopefully we see some more from those Saurus in the coming weeks. Then Shytown will have a nice lizard team. And then Mr. Zygmunt, No levels for the Chorfs. And
Nothing
one
changed here at
MNG
all.
blocker.
Yeah.
And only an MVP.
Yeah,
Not
it's
much.
fine. Like, it's edging Gimme a Hug towards another level, which would be good for Stand Firm, or even better if you could roll Claw.
Yeah.
This team could do with some Stand Firm. And actually, this is the sort of game where it might have mattered. Like, being able to stand on Saurus that don't have block and stop them from pushing you away is quite helpful.
Yeah, and also more safely stand on a sideline and not risk getting surfed. So yeah, much the same team. 1780 for next week. Congratulations to Shaitan on a 2-0 win. And now on to game number 2. Synergy against G-Doggity. A 2-1 win to the Necro.
Synergy luring us all in, saying, oh yeah, I'm just playing to development now. As soon as he says that, goes and wins game.
Playing for development. Don't tip me. Stop tipping me.
Yeah.
But we didn't listen.
We did
And we were eventually correct.
Yeah. Stop clocks here. Still right twice a day. Yeah. It's a good win. It's a good lizard team on paper at least. No damage taken, because I think I said this when I was sort of predicting this game. The previous game against lizards, it just felt like the Necro just got removed so quickly they couldn't hang around, which really didn't happen this time.
Yeah, no damage to Synergy, but there was this AV bust you see here was this week, which kind of makes the MVP a bit awkward as well. Because it's just a normal skink. Do you keep that around with an AV bust? I don't know.
I would not. I think this team has already been a bit bloaty on the skinks, and I think that one is probably the least important of them. Is the only one with levels that hasn't had a double, because the other ones have either sure hands or block, or in some cases 2 skills. That's just, those are all regular skills. It's costing you, I don't know, too much. I think for a skink.
That's like 120 on a skink for that.
Yeah. And what's its job? Like, it's got diving tackle, which will be useful sometimes, but because it doesn't have block, it's not even that good.
Yeah.
I mean, diving tackle without block can still be really good. I know that because Dalric uses it so well on his goblins without even having sidestep, but I don't think it's worth the cost.
Yeah, at least, you know, those goblins are a lot cheaper to get that. But yeah. Another block heavy game, 47-50. With 4 KOs to 2, 2 injuries to 3. So
oh, have you seen chat? Sin 8 turn 8 1 turn. I guess with the wolf.
yeah, I remember she messaged me after saying he managed to do it, which was pretty cool.
Yes, you did actually. I saw that message, so I meant to check it out and I didn't. I forgot. Good job. Because that's just movement 8. You haven't got any sprint or anything, so... Was there a quick snap or anything, or was that just all the pushes? I suppose Frenzy helps. String 4 Frenzy really helps one turn.
Frenzy for a 1 turn, you really need to plan around. I think if you practice enough, Frenzy in a 1 turn can be very helpful. But if you're not particularly practiced, it can often hinder you more often than not. Yeah, it's got to be used incredibly perfectly. You can't just be like, oh, I'll use the Frenzy piece on one of these blocks. You have to do either the Blitz or generally the last block, because you can set up for those with pieces in the right spot the most effectively.
Yeah. So, like, I know you can. I don't think this is what would have happened. I know you can with Frenzy, because someone did it against me in Imperium. Like, you can even set up a 1 turn that doesn't require the Blitz, get you moving, but I think you'd need a higher movement piece than this, because you can use the Frenzy to, like, get 2 pushes and get the person behind the line.
Yeah.
without using blitz. But that's
Yeah, you can. That's I think it's mostly dependent on how the opponent sets up and where, and the movement available. Because
that
if you
means you
can
can
have
make
the
the blitz
frenzy on
take
one of the
time.
outsides and then push them effectively directly sideways and then back and diagonal into your line as just a regular block, that can work. But yeah, it has to be very specific circumstances, I think. Touchback made it easier. Oh yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kicks
a
can
good
ruin a one turn.
It's a good win. It's a good MVP on the ghoul, which is now just one SPP from
Yeah, very
getting
nice
blocked,
MVP.
I assume. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Necro armor, not good. 51% on Necro armor. They just kind of stayed on the pitch a bit more this week.
Yeah. I mean, there are a couple of badly hurts, but
wow, those are some good block dice for synergy. 25 pows.
oh wow, yeah. Yeah, okay. We won't
There
give you
was
any
there
credits.
was some
Just like-
doubles. There was definitely some double powers on some 3 dice. Quite a
Those
few double
powers
powers,
also
like
came in the
5
right
double
places
powers
too.
or something. So
Because if you've done a 1 turn, you have to have got some pushes. Set up 3 in the middle, Saurus, Skinkosaurus.
it would a 3 die the skink for
Ah,
all
that's
the
clever.
pushes. Need the reroll still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was probably a mistake then to put the skink there. Even more so if they didn't have automatic skills unchecked, so that dodge wouldn't.
Dodge on the 5+.
Trigger.
Oh yeah, you mean the skink just automatically dodged?
Yeah.
I really wish in Blood Bowl 3 they will have more skills on manual. I had a game earlier today in WCW where my own catcher ruined my turn 16 score because this was on humans. He made the blitz, got the knockdown, I didn't follow up, and it scattered off another player to him, and it popped his catch reroll and caught the ball.
Oh my god.
Like, catch is one of the ones that you can't put on manual, so I just did it, and I'm like, great. That just ruined my final turn and potential draw instead of a loss. So,
That's
yeah.
super annoying. Yeah.
Oh, your backline dodged the score. Okay.
I mean, all skills should be optional because they are in the tabletop. I understand
Yeah.
like wanting to streamline
Yeah.
it for people playing online just to make life easier, but
Yeah, they've got a handful that should be... Like, if you don't have skills on manual, you should learn to do it. Because it's not really going to hurt. It's just going to tell you when there's the option. And for things like dodge, tackle, wrestle, Juggernaut. Actually, Juggernaut might be forced to be optional because there's multiple things you can do with it. But
yeah.
yeah, and pass is optional. That can be really handy if inaccurate is good enough.
I mean, there are some fringe cases where you might even like not want Mighty Blow to trigger for whatever reason. Like maybe you need to keep a player on the pitch so that you can use it for a chain push. To
Yeah,
knock it down.
yeah. I've definitely seen
So
that
like
plenty
there
of
are all
times.
sorts of like there are always like weird interactions that actually you'd rather have the choice.
All right. Block dice for the lizards. Much more average. Bit heavy on pushes. But not quite as good as the Necro block dice. Crocs kind of didn't want to play. Only 2/3 boneheads. Bit unlucky there. Injury dice, not great either.
Yeah. The thing we can't say without seeing it, like 12 bonehead rolls is quite a lot for a Crocs, and there is always that thing of like, are you activating it more than you need to? Although, again, we don't know how it's happened. Like, it could be that those were 3 in a row, and so it happens once, you're just trying to get it back in the game and it won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like anywhere from... I feel like 10 to 12 activations on a bonehead piece is kind of fine. If it's activating every turn, you're probably not using it quite correctly. But depending on what piece it's going and standing next to, it
Yeah.
could just, like, even if it's going up and marking a zombie, if at the end of turn, as soon as you're just like, you know what, actually, I don't want that zombie marking that Crocs for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And just, purposely fall over, and then the Crocs needs to bonehead again.
My one other thought is, like, if what Synergy's saying about the one turn using the skink in the middle, I would have wanted that Crocs in the middle of the line for the one turn defense. It's got guard, it's strength 5, it's really hard to shove about. I know there's sort of claw wolves that you're a bit scared of, but it's got thick skull as well. I just think that's its job. Like, it makes it much harder to get the pushes, and it makes it harder to dodge away from.
Was the one turn defense just 3 in the middle and everything else at the back? Because I'll be a little disappointed if it is. With the amount of times I've talked about one turn defenses.
No one's watching my advice.
Anyway, let's look at the teams. Let's start with Mr. Synergy. So no injuries, no levels, but we've got that ghoul is very close. Is this a fresh ghoul? Did that happen this week or last week? Last week.
I think this was in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, he's played one match.
I guess you want to develop like a wrestle tackle ghoul.
Did I say ghoul?
If
I
you're
meant
making
white.
goals. Oh, the white.
Yeah,
the
white
white
was also new this week. Or he was new the week before and got MNG'd. I don't remember. But he's played one game. Still looking very healthy, particularly with all this guard on the zombies.
Yeah, I think this team looks really good now. It's got it's got 2 great wolves, it's got guard everywhere. The whites need some development, the ghouls need some development, but those are the easiest players to develop.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking very nice. And over to G Doggedy. So we had one level, which was Ronan the Destroyer, version 2, who now has block. We've now got block on almost every Saurus, except for the strength 5, understandably. And then... Oh, that skink is already gone. I was like, where's that AV busted skink gone? It's gone.
Yeah. That's the right decision.
Yeah. So it did have, what was it, sidestep, DT, catch, and then an AV bust. Yeah, just not good enough to keep around.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think on a skink, I say these things sometimes, I'm like, well, I haven't really played lizards enough, but just from observing other teams, I feel like if you get to 3 skills without a double, it's almost time you want to cycle anyway. So once it got to catch, you're like, is that still doing enough?
I think G Doggedy rearranged his team, because I'm like, I could have sworn these skinks were up here. So I think he's put them finally in, I assume what would be standard order, which is you always put the high strength stuff and positionals at the top, and then the lineman spot down there. Hello, Gruff. How you doing?
Hey, Gruff.
So yeah, one level and Neytiri getting AV busted, stealing the MVP, and then getting fired. It's weird being on YouTube for this. It'll be fine soon enough. Yeah. You'll get used to it.
The level was 2 cats for Ronan the Destroyer, so that's a pretty good level to, against a team that isn't even low armor, to get 2 casualties on a non-Bugsaurus. It's a good game.
It's very good. Very good. Congratulations to Synergy. On to game number 3. We had a 1-0 win to Walker against Incesticide's Chaos. That's quite a lot of armor breaks from the Chaos. 16 armor breaks is pretty good. Yeah. Considering I think they only had 1 tackle, which I guess means they rolled a decent amount of powers.
Yeah, but presumably bad injury dice or good injury dice if you're Walker. Because, there are only 2.
7 KOs and 3 injuries. That's kind of fine. I guess just I'm gonna guess a lot of them came late. Or Walker's positioning was just too strong even though he was losing players.
Walker's very good on positioning, so it's very possible.
We do have one failed catch. There might have been a handoff for a score that failed for Incesticide. Everything else pretty much average.
Yeah, nothing looks bad here, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if the catch is critical, it's critical. But even then, like the fact there's only one of them suggests there wasn't a reroll, so you can't bank on that.
Hang on, so the Sidewinders rolled armor 27 times. Now there will be some failed dodges, but that's about half of the blocks succeeded. So that is, you know, if there was no failed, there was only 2 failed dodges. So that's...
And broke armor a lot, even for like armor
Oh
7.
no, that's those. I was looking at the wrong team. 7 failed dodges, that's more like it.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like there was a decent amount of powers. Let's have a look at the block dice, actually. Nope, we're wrong. Block dice were actually pretty horrendous for the chaos.
Block dice. We should have looked at that first.
That's a lot of 1 dice by this pace.
Yeah. Throwing 1 dice against Amazon sounds bad. Like, power fishing on 1 dice is not a good time.
Okay, it was just actually those first couple pages. Must have just been those players specifically.
Like, one thing that is really relevant for this game is Incesticide was down effectively 2 Chaos Warriors. There was a new one, but he was down a sort of leveled Chaos Warrior that died and down another one that was MNG'd, so he was missing his strength advantage to some sort of quite a big degree.
So no successful wake-ups from KO for Walker out of 5. Looking at this dice log, it looks like the Chaos probably should have won this.
Yeah, I mean, the block dice certainly don't help you, but yeah, this looks pretty ugly for the Amazons.
Yeah.
The injuries aren't too bad, and that's important. Like, the arm breaks are a lot, but the injury roll's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Alright, let's have a look at the teams. So we had Incesticide, had a rookie beastman get movement busted. Looks like he's already gone. And no levels. But he is back to full on his warriors for this week.
Yeah, the beastman doesn't matter. You have loads of bank, so that's fine.
Yeah.
You've got your warriors back this time, so... Didn't manage to get any SPP on the rookie warrior, which will be a slog.
I mean, yeah, that'd be tricky, particularly against Amazons. I'd be surprised if Phobos even got too many knockdowns, because you'd want to be hitting with other stuff anyway. And over to
this team still looks really good. It's missing a good warrior, and that's a bummer, but it still looks really good.
It is still lacking in tackle, but yeah, the development's just not quite coming fast enough. And then Walker's Zons, we had a rookie catcher get movement busted. It's already gone, and we've got Julia Gillard III now.
Yeah, got a really nice MVP to take a guard line woman up to guard and block.
Yeah, see a furler here.
Really nice.
Now blodge guard. There's now 5 blodge guard pieces.
It's just a nut, isn't it? That's obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's a lot to deal with.
I feel like Walker's going to have a very strong finish with this kind of setup. He had a good amount. Did he have a good amount of guard? I think he only had like maybe 2 or 3 at the start of this season. Actually.
I'm not sure.
Because I think it was Lofty that had a bunch of strength and guard, and Walker, in comparison, had some guard, but it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, this is a really nice team. Like, all you really want now is, like, you want a couple more random stats, basically. Because stats anywhere on Amazons can be good.
Yeah.
Because they're all basically very similar. One, then you just add skills on top.
A bit more Mighty Blow would be good. I think Elise Perry or Kate Campbell should probably take Mighty Blow next, or maybe Tackle.
Yeah. Yeah, only 1 tackle's probably low. But that wrestle line woman could also get tackled to be a Rackler, which I think it probably will.
Yeah,
It's only
probably
3
will.
SPB away.
And yeah, still at 14 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty good considering the teams as they've been coming up against. So congrats to Walker on a 1-0 win. All right, on to our first segment of this week. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pause the music, pause the background music, because we gotta get the theme tune in. It's time for thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers with Serpickles.
Oh no! Oh no! Ignore that. I had the wrong scene queued up.
Oh no!
God, this is a shambles. I forgot to switch.
Blame YouTube pickles.
Blame
Just say it's all
YouTube connection. DMCA's shit. No, that was entirely on me. I had the wrong scene in my preview and hit the macro that doesn't actually tell it what scene to go to. It just tells it to add the graphic and then change scene.
Totally fine.
So, this game was very interesting. It was our two rookies, effectively. I believe they both came up from college. I know Lofty definitely did. I'm not entirely certain about Paythor. But he came in with a developed team. So I'm assuming he came through some amount of college or rookie league. And I think unfortunately, and I'll go through some things, I think unfortunately their inexperience showed. Paythor has been around. I played him before. How long though? He just sat out for a while. Okay, maybe he's just kind of maybe it's more rustiness than inexperience. Because last week, I think it was last week, maybe it was the week before, I covered Paythor against Zygmunt, and I thought Paythor played really well. And then this week was a lot different. So
I actually got a message from Lofty this week saying he hasn't been tracking all the games like in real time, but he's been watching back some of the recaps and appreciates the analysis. So I think he's definitely quite raw, but is enjoying hopefully now.
that's
He's
good.
learning and seeing some things. So hopefully he'll see this one and I'm sure what you're about to say will impart all sorts of wisdom.
Well, now you've
I'm
set me up to fail.
confident
Okay. I'm pretty much going to go straight into slides. There was a lot that happened in the first half, and most of my slides are from the first half. The second half had some odd moments, but it was a lot faster and a lot more one-sided. So I need to go to here. Then I need to go to display. Nope. That. Okay. So this is turn 2 from Paythor. So the Azons won the toss and went first. They decided to attack first. Where'd my notes go? There they are. And what happened on turn 2 was kind of a theme for Paythor throughout most of the game. He committed a lot of players to get 1 or 2 2-die blocks on Rog or Blodge pieces without tackle. Like over here, the two pieces I've circled are the only ones that haven't activated yet. So this screen is done. The blitz was on this wrestle piece, which has just moved. It was previously here. And this block is about to be thrown. It doesn't get a knockdown, I think. Or if it did, it didn't break. It wasn't important, was the thing. But 5 pieces were committed to block 2 Amazons, leaving the screen weak in multiple places. Yeah, it was... This is a common theme that we'll see. We're going to go through the slides pretty quickly. But yeah, it was
Saying as
kind
well,
of.
like,
Sorry,
of
go
all
ahead.
teams to do that against, like I feel like Amazons really are a team that you can do the elf screen effectively against because they're slow. So like if you're just stopping them from going forwards, you're winning.
Yeah, they're like the high elves do have that speed advantage, and they don't have any tackle, so they're always power fishing pretty much, except on 3 pieces, I think, only have dodge, and there's not much block on the elves, so they're probably power fishing anyway. Yeah, it was an odd choice. The elves end up catching up, but it gave up too much ground, and it's going to be a common theme in Pathor's play this game. So the next one, the reason they could kind of catch up was Lofty's blitz targets were a bit weird. He went for, there was a piece standing here. If I go back, he's blitzed this and tried to punch through the middle rather than say this kick piece or this guy on the side to open it up a bit more. And then has ended up basing his cage, which is kind of a repeating theme you'll see in Lofty's play in this game. He bases his cage several times. Having not seen his other games, I think it might be a bad habit that is potentially causing him losses that should be draws or wins.
Yeah.
So currently, this is the very end of the Zon turn. This Rackle piece has just moved here and it's about to end. So even with just a push, there's a red dice with a wrestle on the ball. Pathor doesn't take it, and I can't really fault him on that. You know, it is a red dice and it's only turn 3. But it kind of, these kinds of shots keep getting offered up. And if it gets later and the Zons haven't made enough ground, they kind of have, because of Pathor's turn 2 where he committed half of his team to 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So yeah, if the Zons don't make enough ground in a different game and they're basing their cage, an Agi team with Wrestle will take this red die on turn 5, turn 6, if they've got enough rerolls and go, well, it's not super likely, but it might work and it probably wins me the drive. He ends up blitzing the Agi piece, which I can totally get on board with. Instead, because there wasn't really any scoring threats apart from these two. So take out the Agi one, which is more likely to catch. Fair enough. I can understand that. I can understand not going for this. But yeah, this happens multiple times. That said, Pathor kind of does the same thing where he commits several pieces to one block. This is a strength 4 blodge guard Amazon blitzer. And only this bottom lineman here was actually on it. And he's got dodge. He's the one pictured down here. Oh, you can't see it because the Thoughts and Prayers graphic is there. Hang on. Let's get rid of that. Let's get super serious. There we go.
These are serious thoughts.
These are serious thoughts and prayers. So this isn't as bad as the previous overcommitting players to a block, but it's a small difference of, say these 2 pieces, instead of standing here, are actually standing, one further back. That means that right-hand push is pretty much impossible. Because the Zons are looking, okay, I can go down the sideline by hitting this, or I can probably push more into the middle to not be forced to a sideline. And that would have been basically impossible if they weren't marking, and this blodge guy was just like hanging out back here saying, you've got to cover everything or I will get to you. So yeah, it was a weird choice because again, it was power fishing. It breaks up the screen slightly. Even if this was only one piece over this side and one of these 2 was actually back here, because I think the catcher came from all the way back here.
Yeah.
Then suddenly there's not really a path for the Zons to punch through. because it's just double layered everywhere and they're not going to gain much ground. That was the other part. On the following turn, I think the Zons should have punched down this sideline because they can actually make a lot of ground with the amount of players that are free. But they don't. They punch to the right.
Oh.
And again, base up the cage. The basings in the bottom half of the cage aren't too bad because there's just enough guard and Amazons that these guys can't really do anything.
Yeah.
But this one up here, the one that's circled, is an issue. Because with this guard, dodge lineman has just come from over here, which is going to cause this block to push down, and then this lineman follows this yellow line, which is a slight mistake. It should have gone to the square in green, because by going there, it means that the 2 die that he's just engineered to find space on the ball, if it doesn't get a POW, he's going to be putting guard on a potential hit on the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just stood 1 square over, we could shove it away, and then this blodge elf blitzer, even if he doesn't get a knockdown, there's then blodge on the ball. You get a 1 die at the ball, maybe you roll a POW, but it's more about pressuring the ball if you're going for this. So yeah, slight positioning mistake meant that he didn't actually end up taking the red die on the ball because this strength 4 guard blitzer didn't fall over, and it kind of got messy. So the next thing is, I feel like Lofty had an easy stall, and he chose to score on turn 6.
Oh no, against elves.
Yeah. Against slower teams, this wouldn't be too bad. I think you would probably still try to score. Maybe he was fearing the wizard, but I think you can screen this well enough that the wizard doesn't really matter. Or if it does come out, the elves aren't going to score on you immediately. So, you know, the wizard's gone for the second half. You can play a lot safer. But these 2 pieces circled haven't moved. The Agi 4 catcher, no, just Agi 4 linewoman, sorry, has moved to the end zone and is about to receive a pass from the thrower who dodges out and then passes. So I think there could have been a handoff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there could have been GFI handoff, but there was 3+ pass into 2+ catch. I'm trying to remember if
I mean, that might be about SPP, which, you know, is debatable.
That said, all these high elves are on the floor. These line women can basically entirely complete this screen, and using the Agi 4 one as well, you can pretty much screen off this entire yellow area. And then just sit the ball somewhere over here.
Yeah, because you also, like, if you can still do the pass if you want to. You just sort of, in fact, that means the thrower can be an extra piece in the screen at that point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you could do that as well.
Sort of, you just position the receiving target like 1 space further back.
Yeah.
Because actually, like, it's, as you say, it's a safe screen, and if it's not in the end zone, then it's not going to scatter out either if you get bolted.
Yeah. The other thing, the other sort of theme of Lofty's play was he's still got some turn ordering issues. Like these two Amazon pieces haven't moved. And if you're going to go for this pass play anyway, you know, this one on the left here can at least stand and trap a lot of these players in so that if the pass fails, you don't just get immediately surfed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up a few times. It was never... it didn't, like, critically punish him, his turn ordering. But there was there's several turns where I was like, ooh, if that failed, you just, like, lost the ball right there because of turn ordering.
And, like, if Lofty is an experienced player, I'd say that's probably, like, one of the hardest and most important lessons I had to learn playing Blood Bowl. It's like turn ordering is really important.
Yeah,
like,
and turn ordering happens even to very experienced coaches. If you get tunnel visioned of, like, if Lofty's thinking here, okay, I'm going to score, he's suddenly not thinking, what are these other two, seemingly irrelevant pieces to the ball doing? And yeah, that is a lesson that takes a while to stick in new coaches' minds.
You like always have to plan for the failure state. The only thing I would say is maybe that one at the top on the right is kind of doing a job where it is, just because if you fail the dodge out, you don't want the elves to get up and immediately chuck the ball away from you.
The one on the right. Oh,
The
you mean
one circled in yellow?
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
I mean, it's not doing a heap because they're still elves. They can still just get up and dodge away on a 2+, but
Yeah. And it's only marking the loner that these other two aren't.
yeah, okay.
So it's not doing much down there. Either it comes in, stands here, effectively trapping this blitzer in case you fail this dodge out. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go away and around and be part of a screen here if you wanted to. So ends up scoring on turn 6, giving high elves 3 turns to score, which most elves would be perfectly happy with that. They are down to 1 reroll. And then the turn 6 setup by both coaches is really weird.
I feel like Pickles is about to roast some people.
It's not a complete, this makes no sense at all. It's just, this is a weird time to do this.
Oh, I see.
So, Lofty offsets and doesn't have kick, which is a weird decision in itself. Generally, if you're offsetting the line, if you're offsetting the line, you need kick to be either keep it on that side, or if you're faster than the opponent, you offset so that you can kick it to the other side and beat them to it.
I was going to say, I'm still okay with it without a kicker if the opposition is a slow team, but you're the slow team here.
Yes, yeah, that's kind of the issue. Another issue is he's protecting 2 rookies, which is kind of weird when Wrestle and Rackle will be very important in the following turns to take down receivers. So a bit of an odd choice there.
And also, you've put all your tackle on the narrow side of the pitch, so you've sort of invited the elves to go to the open side where there isn't a line, and all of your tackle is away from there.
Yes. The thing is, this is the end of the high elf setup. They don't go to the right side.
Weird.
They decide they're going to fight the line, so they commit players to that, and then they blitz the piece on the left, circled in red.
I do not understand those choices.
They do knock it over, I think.
Well,
but there was dodging afterwards, and it's kind of weird.
I can understand those choices in as much as that is the one piece with Tackle and Mighty Blow, and you're thinking, you've given me a chance to hit it. I can understand it that far. I don't think it's the right choice, though.
Yeah. If the elves had their own Mighty Blow tackle, or even just a tackle piece, I would definitely understand that. But they don't, and they're power fishing all game. That gives such worse position than pushing and blitzing the one circled in green.
Yeah. Which you have a decent chance to knock down because it has no block.
The way I would set this up is basically put the rookie in front of the 3 on the LOS so that you don't get blitzed from them. Minimal screening on the left and the left middle, and then most players in this area over here to blitz the player circled in green, get receivers down there, screen off the receivers, and also screen off kind of like this line. Provided the ball lands not terribly. And even then, you keep a few pieces around here. Just 2 or 3, maybe, in this entire side of the field. The ball ended up landing, I think it was here, with a high kick. So the thrower actually caught it. But yeah, it ended up working. Sometimes elf 2 turns work.
Yeah.
I think it ended up being a 3 turn actually. But it was a lot riskier than it should have been because he threw some extra dodge dice. A lot of his players were caught in a scrum for the next 2 turns. Meaning he had to, I think, dodge off tackle, 2 die needing a knockdown on a Rodge piece, and then like throw from the thrower to a middleman who then like dodge and GFI to hand off in a tackle zone to a blitzer, I believe. And I feel like a lot of that can be avoided if you go for positioning over the target that you want to remove when doing a fast score like this. Yeah, so that was turn 6 setup and the following. So we saw the exact same setup, which ended... Oh, this is turn 7. That was a good question, actually. Where's the middleman? And what I mean by that is for the high elves. The thrower is all the way at the back. I think he's like 2 from the end zone. Unnecessarily far back, in my opinion, because he has a long way to run and then throw. Oh yeah, this is the turn after that weird setup. This is turn 7. Yeah, there's no... Without a quarterback thrower, which is sort of a thrower that has accurate strong arm or an agi up, safe throw. I mean, the high off throw has already got safe throw. But without that kind of piece that can throw half the pitch on a 3+, you need to do the relay game where you throw to someone halfway between, then they run up and hand off to the actual receiver. There wasn't really anyone set up for that. There's several pieces kind of stuck in a scrum. There's a couple of linemen who are very easily exposed. One of them's a loner. And there isn't really that middle piece. And yeah, it ended up being like a dodge out from tackle into a 2 die that needed a knockdown. I think it was 4+ pass, 2+ catch, a dodge GFI, 3+ catch on turn 8. So yeah, I think Patho needs to think about not just getting the receivers and the thrower in position when doing a 2 or a 3 turn pass play, because the quintessential middleman who catches the throw and then hands it off to the receiver is almost more important. Because if you don't have that, it's like, well, guess I'm doing a 5+ or 6+ pass. So yeah, it was... I think I did the maths on it. I didn't put it on screen. I think it was something like a 43% with a reroll success of the relay, because there was no middleman set up. He had to create one by dodging and blitzing. Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Until you get the stupid alpha. Until you get the stupid one with the extra skills. Because every elf team gets it eventually.
Yeah, and then you get it eventually, and then you have it for a few games, and you lose elves. So yeah, we saw the exact same setup on turn 9, but at that point in a drive, it's a lot less weird, because turn 6, you kind of know what each team wants to do for the next 2 to 3 turns. Whereas on turn 9, it's a lot more open to interpretation. So I think that we saw literally the exact same setup. They didn't move a single piece.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think the elves should be fighting the line, because they're going to get caught in a scrum, and they're better off using their speed and Agi 4 to just run around the Amazons. But yeah, it was less weird on turn 9, but pretty weird from both sides on turn 6.
Yeah.
Okay, we're up to turn 12. What have I've got anything before turn 12? Oh yeah, elf armor broke a bit turn 9 and 10, but they did an almost identical passing play. Yeah, I'm surprised both of them works, because both passing plays at the end of first half and the start of the second half was, I think, around about between 40 and 50% with a reroll used. Didn't actually use the reroll on either one, but if that's sort of like your main offense, that's pretty low odds, and I think they could be really improved mostly by thinking about the setup. I think you could push that into, 70 or 80% success rate, which is almost as good as passing gets, because passing is still risky. But if you need to score fast, might as well do it effectively.
All I'm hearing is that elves are jerks.
Don't worry, you'll get to experience the 2+ passing plays this week, Tree.
And they'll work against me, even though they haven't against everyone else you played this season.
Yeah. So, that theme of Pathor committing too many players to get 2 dice blocks. So this catcher is coming from over here. Pathor basically, from this position, gives up his entire screen to make 1 2-die block. There was going to be a second one, but it required 2 GFIs, and he ends up snaking one of them. So we go from this, something relatively hard for the Zons to push through on the left. Could spread out and maybe dodge some of these out. They're off tackle, but if position other people first, you could at least get a decent screen. Even if it's weak on one side, you kind of want to push them to one side anyway. And we end up here. We've made 1 block that didn't get a knockdown and given up most of the pitch. So the following turn, I'm not sure if I actually got the next turn in a slide, but most of these elves get trapped because the Zons have enough movement to get around behind them. The ball ends up over on the left. The rest of the half was still a mess. But yeah, this was a very odd choice to commit so many players to get a 2-die on a strength 4 guard, the same strength 4 guard that he's been overcommitting to the entire game. And this guard piece has just snaked a GFI. It was coming to down here in order to blitz this piece, I think. But again, would be power fishing. There's not many things you can't just power fish in this game, so I understand that it's hard not to. But target priority was a bit weird throughout most of it. So I think the next slide is the final one. Yeah, okay. Miss Tree, I would like you to guess, where does the blitz hit and where does the ball end up?
I think my slide has not updated.
It'll hopefully get there eventually.
Yeah.
You should be seeing on the ball on the left.
Yeah, I'm not at the moment. I feel like my YouTube's going really slowly. Ball should be on the left. It's definitely not. Here we go. Okay. All right. Where's the blitz? This is the Amazon turn. This is a very strong position.
Yeah.
I think the safest route is to use the tackle mighty blow just to blitz that dodge piece, even though it's already based. And then you've got a whole heap of players to make a very safe cage with further forward. You want to tell me that's not what I should have done now? It's that way you can blitz pieces back, that requires some GFIs.
That is exactly what I would do as well.
Yeah.
He did blitz that. Unfortunately, didn't get a knockdown. And then kind of panicked. I'm not sure if I have the slide. Did I grab this last slide? Nope, that's your game. So presumably the ball's going to end up in the top left corner, screened off.
Yeah.
You can do it without GFIs.
Really, I mean, you could set up that screen of the ball before you even do the blitz. Like you've got enough players to make it.
Ooh, a pointer. So that's much easier to see.
You have
So the
enough space
ball-
to make the cage next to the end zone
Yeah.
without even taking the blitz first. You can leave the blitz till last.
Yeah. You can just walk up there, essentially make a cage without the middle, and the ball is the top left corner. The ball ends up 5 squares to the right of where it is currently.
I'm really far behind. I'm going to close my stream and open it again. Sorry, keep talking. I'm just going to try and do something.
So yeah, the blitz doesn't happen. I don't know why Lofty decided to just run to the right. And then I think bases up his cage again. And just makes all of these elves in the bottom right suddenly relevant. Pathor had committed so hard to those blocks that pushing to the left, he made almost half the team irrelevant. And then ends up pushing right again. And just making these 4 elves relevant to the play again. It was really odd. I don't know why he didn't push forward.
Yeah, that's very strange. Because, yeah, like, once you get towards the end zone, you only need 4 players to have a perfect cage because they can't hit you from the side that's off the pitch, right? So you could even do, like, the most of conservative cage really easily. I don't think that's what I would do. I'd probably screen it and leave it a bit looser. But, like, there's no way that this ball can be at risk if you just move it forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing maybe he miscounted exactly how far these other 3 pieces could go, or just didn't count them at all. The wizard was gone. It got used the previous turn to bolt the thrower. It was a weird wizard. None of the elves could get there without a 5+ dodge amongst other dodges. So it was a very weirdly timed wizard. It did actually injure the thrower. But it didn't really do anything else. But yeah, the ball ends up smack bang in the middle with a based cage against this blodger. The final turns are a bit of a shambles. The ball actually ends up getting knocked free, but then picked up by the Agi and run in.
Wow. Yeah, that's not what I would have predicted from looking at this.
No.
scene here.
Yeah, this is a super strong position for the Amazons.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure how to analyze what Lofty might have been thinking in terms of coming back into the middle.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no idea, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so that was the game. It was a bit of an odd one. Let's head back to the main thing. Get rid of those slides. Oh, it's kicked me back to the main menu. Why have you done that? Why have you done that, Blood Bowl? Did we lose connection to the server? Maybe. Seems fine. Yeah, so that was the 2-all draw. Let's have a look at the teams. We'll start with Lofty Zons. We had the thrower got movement busted from the wizard, so it is now a movement up, movement down thrower.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, Zons really need all the movement they can get.
Yeah, that's a really annoying one. And you probably still keep it for now just because of sure hands, but you might want to start thinking about developing another one.
Yeah. No levels for the Amazons, unfortunately. They do have Barracuda II and Albacore, both very close to a level now. Some more development on those will be nice. Oh, and
good
Puffer,
level.
actually. And the Agi. So potentially a bit of a power spike coming up. Quite a few pieces very close to a level. Hopefully we see that in the next week or two.
It's still a great looking team. Always has
Yeah.
been. All season.
Yeah. Now, Pathor's Hiles. There was a dead loner So one of the 3 deaths this week was a loner. This catcher is just MNG'd, and we've got 2 levels, but we don't know what they are. If they are normals, what are they? Probably.
I guess sidestep. For
Yeah,
one
sidestep on one, tackle on the other.
Yeah, I think you want some tackle.
You could
desperately.
kind of do either or. I'd probably put sidestep on the blitzer.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking the other way around, but I just sort of think blitzers. Do blitzers with them. It's not really the right way to think, is it? Either's good.
Yeah,
They're good
either
skills
is
for-
fine. Like they'll probably both want both of those skills in the next 2 to 3.
Mm.
It depends what is sort of his main blitzer. Whether he uses the
Yeah.
blitzer because it's AV8 and is going to be hit back, or uses the catcher for the extra movement.
Mm.
This team does need tackle.
Yeah, you definitely have to make one of those tackle. I mean, yeah, unless they're both like amazing stats, you don't want to turn down. But I think
Yeah.
you need tackle really badly.
Yeah, if one of them is a double or a stat, then I think the other one has to be tackled, just because I'm not sure how many of... Actually, I know he's played the other high elves already, and now he's played one of the Zons. Not sure how many lizards Pathor has played, but if there's any left, probably need a tackle.
Yeah, I mean, doubles are obviously great. Guard or Mighty Blow on either place is good. Like both of those are good.
Yeah, be interesting to see what those end up as. All right, hopefully, I wasn't too harsh on you boys. I wanted you to, I want everybody to improve, basically.
Yeah.
And
I really
hopefully
encourage the buffing message
that comes
in
across
terms
as
of
like, this is what are my swords doing up there? I swear I turned those off.
They've been
Get
a
outta
little
here.
stream. I wondered if they still worked.
No, they don't. They don't on YouTube. I guess I did an update for this scene. Yeah. Hopefully they get some practice in on some of those things. Oh yeah, I did write down things to remember for each of you. Like main things. Lofty, turn ordering, and don't base the cage if you don't have to. If you can put the cage somewhere where it isn't based, even if it's further back from the touchdown line, that's far better. And Pathor, I've written down, just because you can get a 2-die doesn't mean you should. Screening and positioning is everything for an elf team, and you give up a lot of ground on defense just to get a couple of 2-dice blocks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those are both very sound advice. Sound advice from Pickles, as always.
Skip next game. Hey, Reka. All right. Speaking of next game, hey, it's Reka's game.
Hey.
Reka against Capcaster and a 2-0 win to the Lizards. Wow, that is a lot of armor breaks.
Oh wow.
Skip. No.
No,
We venerate your amazing, wins over some teams, and we commiserate on your failures, Reka. That's how this show works.
yeah. I'm just going to warn everyone because I'm sort of sitting here and I think I'm partly distracted because I'm anxious about it. I think I'm going to get a delivery in the next bit and it's going to be a loud dog when it happens. Just going to warn everyone now.
Okay.
I'm going to try and hit them as soon as it happens. I
Okay.
don't know exactly when it's going to come. It might not come till later, but yeah, I'm just going to acknowledge my anxiety about that.
Okay. We've all been warned.
Yeah.
We've
so
all been
brace your
warned. There
ears.
may be sudden dog.
But yeah, this was another good win for Capcaster. I think Capcaster's quietly building up a head of steam.
Yeah. I can't remember his early weeks, but I think they were just kind of average. They weren't anything super impressive, and then he's just kind of sitting in the background getting wins.
Yeah, so good win. And took one, I think lost one skink, but other than that, came out of it in good shape
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So it was a lot of blocks from the Lizards. Not quite 71 because Fend messes with the stats. But that's still going to be quite a lot of blocks. 9
Yeah.
KOs inflicted. And apparently
Wow.
they just stayed there. I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll see that in the
Ball
dice.
possession tells us
12
doesn't it?
KOs sustained. 9 inflicted, but 12 sustained by the Bretts.
Yeah.
Was there fouling? Or did they just do it to themselves? Interesting question. So you're 45% Brett armor. That's awful. Injury dice, phenomenal though. They took no perms
Oh my
and
god, yeah.
only had 2 injuries in the first place.
Rolling 28 times on the injury dice and not getting any perms out of it. Yeah, you've got to consider that a bit of a win.
Ooh,
Your
we'll get to
strength
that
and
in a
source
second,
allergy?
Cap. That
I
sounds
think
interesting.
You probably don't take that. But you never know. Agi this time, sure hands next level. There's your new ball carrier.
I think it didn't count the players who came back and got KO'd again. I mean, did you fail GFIs or dodges into KOing yourself? Because that's just inflicted from blocks. So if there was ones that you did from a failed dodge or for a foul, it wouldn't count it there, but it would count it here. Uh, 37%, 16 KO rolls for the Bretts.
Yeah.
Dodging
Breaking
also
is a lot
not
of
great. GFIs though, that's how you GFI.
Not
These are
great
really
to
like
honestly-
polarizing D6s.
The Dauntless are probably going to be rolled on a lot of 2+s against Saurus.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, probably. Though there is a Crocs and a Strength Up Saurus. So there'll be some
yeah,
3
that's true.
pluses in there, presumably. Brett block dice. Yeah. Kind of okay. In fact, it's probably
I'll
a
say
little
one
bit
thing
above average.
that is interesting looking at the Rebel.net report is that of the 4 skinks, 3 of them left the pitch. So I guess presumably not early enough. And I suppose also you only need 1 skink in the end. But yeah, I think Raker did get rid of skinks.
That looks like at first glance a lot of pows for the Lizards, but it's just not many stumbles.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of average.
Slightly low on pushes, so sort of more either end of the scale.
There was 2 attempted loner rerolls by Cap. Cap, what were these?
Croxicle? I think that's the only... Oh, they had Slippy as well. Could be Slippy.
Oh, yeah, could be. They could be, once he's pretty much already won the game as well. Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Nothing really failing for the Lizards. Casualty dice a little bad. Injury dice as well, but there's not too many of them.
12 out of 12 boneheads. When
That's pretty
in
good.
the earlier game I was saying, like, is 12 too many? Yeah, if you make them all, it's great.
Yeah, if you succeed every time, it's fine, no matter how many dice.
Yeah.
Alright. Let's have a look at the teams. Raker's Bretonnians. No injuries. So even though they got KO'd off the pitch, they were actually fine afterwards. Just needed a nap. And a level on Lupus. Is this just normals? It's dubs. Presumably that's guard. That would be a snap guard in my opinion.
Yeah, this team's got, like, no guard.
But what are you considering, Raker? Because you are known for non-standard picks. You're thinking jump up. God, I hope you're serious.
I mean, I think guard is the right choice. There are other ways you could go. I mean, you could put dodge on it with the view that you'll get block next, and then you'll have a really annoying lineman. But I don't think it's worth it.
Gotcha. I mean, I wouldn't put it past you.
Hail Mary pass. Another movement 6 shadowing, maybe. Build the all shadowing team. I just said shadowings are normal, so there's no point wasting a double on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Guard is the current head choice, yeah. I would hope so.
Yeah.
It's really the thing you are missing is guard. As funky and interesting as the blitzer builds are, the team lacks guard.
Yeah.
Jump up would be very odd. I'm curious what the peasant jump up animation is.
Or peasant piling on.
Has anyone seen that ever? Might have to do some tests.
Peasant leap, also. Peasant leap. Some great animations we're missing out on that you have a chance to give us. Some of the leap animations are so janky. Like, some of the leap animations are just like, they haven't bothered to animate it. They just sort of lift it up.
Yeah. The the dark elf and the pro elf leaps. They're terrible. They just jump.
Yeah, they just levitate. They just move up in the air. Death roller leap. Oh, I should look for that. I feel like in Imperium you get some really weird ones you see. So like, yeah, I've seen like orc leaps that just look terrible. So bad.
Alrighty.
Someone was playing a dwarf team in Division 2 last year who had a leaping dwarf. I think they're not in the league this season, but I can't remember who they are.
Was it Rage Dwarf? I just know that's a dwarf team that's been around for a while. It wasn't in Big O.
No, it was in Big O because I saw it against Yaz.
Oh. Did
I don't know who it
Trauk
was.
have a... Or maybe Warhammer Frog had
No,
a
it wouldn't be
leaping...
Trauk. It must be Warhammer Frog because it wasn't Trauk. Trauk was in Div 3 as well.
I don't remember what Div Warhammer Frog was in. I think it was a fresh team last season. Maybe? I don't remember.
Neither do I.
So for
I'm
Capcom,
sure it happened.
we had DT Skink get niggled. You probably cycle that.
Yeah, Niggle Stunty is bad. And there's no double on it, so...
It's Kazed on a 7,
6
8.
plus? Oh, no, so removed on a 6 plus. Kaz on an 8.
And then Denzel Lissington has rolled Agi up. You could just like full commit, go Agi up sure hands. Then you've got a strength 5, like effectively like Kemri ball carrier.
Yeah, I mean, I think you ignore that. I should throw. I'm sorry to say. Fun though it would be, I think there's lots of good things you could do with that, including break tackle, which makes your dodging better than the Agi would.
I think you'd
I
either go
probably
break
would
tackle or guard.
Yeah, definitely. I think I would go break tackle just because you don't have any yet, and so it might as well be on the one who's really good for it.
And then
But I
presumably
mean-
just block on the other one.
Yeah, but you could also build towards having, as you say, guard and stand firm on strength 5 is really good.
Yeah, getting some good Saurus development. Alrighty, on to the final game. And it's time for another segment. So let's pause that background music. And okay, I've got the right scene up this
It's
time.
not actually the final game. There's one more to go.
Right, I
This
should
is-
scroll
this is the
down.
beginning.
The penultimate game.
Yeah.
I've gone to the
'Cause you're
wrong
looking
one.
Yeah, you're looking at the wrong one.
Don't look at that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. We'll
Ignore
cut that out
but-
in post.
yeah.
All right, here we go. It's time for.
It's time for another unsolved mystery.
Well, I'm stumped.
Take it away.
Did it happen? Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm just behind. Unsolved mysteries. You are on here again, Finn, but it's actually because I said on last week's stream I haven't watched Balwin's games yet, and so I needed to make sure I watched a Balwin game this week, and so my name isn't the penultimate one. I need to get a good look at these orcs and see what these orcs were all about. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know if Balwin's here. I think not because I haven't seen them, but I was a bit disappointed with the orcs in this game. I think, unfortunately, there were some really iffy plays in the first half that kind of just set the whole game. So let's jump right into those with the first slide. And probably we'll need to move the logo as well because I think it's going to be in the way.
Okie dokie. Oh, yeah, it's definitely partially in the way.
Yeah.
Time to get out of here, Pikachu.
We're also looking
I
at the wrong
mean,
game
totally
again.
not copyright infringing mouse
Yeah.
thing.
That's just a portrait of me. I don't know what you're on
Yeah.
about.
All right. You're on screen.
Right.
There we go.
So, yeah. Okay, so this is term 1. The orcs obviously are pretty worried about Chloro Mighty Blow, and they've set up deep. I'm totally okay with that. One thing before I sort of start talking about the play, which I didn't love, you see circled in red, they've got the chainsaw on the pitch, and they've got Bomber Dribble Snot off the pitch. As inducements, I'm totally okay with those. I understand why you would go with that. Barwin induced those two and then an apothecary. I think there are other ways you could go. You certainly could have gone with also a bribe. So you could have gone with a wizard. You could have gone with some more just mercenary linemen, just to have more bodies to take the hits. But I'm totally okay with the weapons if that's the way you want to go with it. I don't love having the chainsaw on defense when you could have the bomber. I think the bomber is much more effective on defense, and the chainsaw is a piece that you can use on offense just to cause some damage. So I thought that was an odd choice. But unfortunately, like, the play is more odd. 1 second. Because yeah, what happens here is kind of hard to see because there's so many symbols on. But the first action that Balwin takes on his turn is to move the Black Orc forward, who's already moved, and then blitz onto the dodge Chaos Warrior with Mighty Blow, who's standing at the front of formation. As a blitz target makes total sense. It's the one that's available. You can do that and still position everything. What I don't understand is doing it on 1 dice. I really don't understand doing it on 1 dice. You've only got 1 assist on that piece right now.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
blitzing with Strength 3 blitzer who's coming forward. You're doing that before anything else moves, and you have a heap of other players who could come in and provide an assist. The blue lines, the 2 players who've got blue lines on them, those movements were done afterwards. And I would say that the whole formation seems to be designed to protect yourself from taking a hit next, which again, I understand. I understand playing quite a passive defense against that much claw, but I don't think it would make it that much harder to protect your pieces if the lineman on the right comes and stands on that Chaos Warrior instead of the 1 square over to the right. It means you have to bunch up a little bit more, but you're kind of giving a whole side of the pitch anyway, so you're not worried about that. And 2 dice on this hit gives you like twice as much chance of getting the player down. As it is, he rolls both down. He's got Juggernaut, pushes it back, so it's not a disaster on this turn. But to me, it's a really odd choice. Like, your odds of getting a good outcome on that 1 dice block is 1 in 3. It's a 5+. And at that point, I'd almost say, like, if you're really like that being cautious, just don't take the blitz at all. Like, just continue to stay backwards. I'd rather do a 2 dice block myself, and I don't think you would lose much for it. So that was just a really odd choice. And what then complicates it is if we go to the next slide. Bowen does exactly the same thing on the next turn. A totally unnecessary 1 dice. So the Chaos have taken position. The removals at this point aren't that bad. They've got, I think, maybe 1 KO at this point. They haven't taken many of the orcs off the pitch. It's quite hard to see because of all the skills on these players. But again, Bowen's first move from here is to move the already in motion, which is the blue line, strength 4 guard blitzer in to give an assist on the Minotaur. There's already 1 player assisting on it, but Minotaur's a strength 5, obviously. And you then blitz again with the same sort of killer blitzer that has Mighty Blow and Tackle, but that's strength 3 with 2 assists against strength 5. It's a 1 dice, and it rolls skull into skull. So this is like a real disaster scenario because you've then left players based, you've left players out of position, and you've taken a claw hit on your blitzer, which actually, doesn't hurt it. It stays on the pitch, doesn't get stunned even. But there's just no reason that it needs to be that. You could move any number of players to give the extra assist here. I sort of assume, looking at what they do here, that they're aiming to get a chain push and potentially to push some of the Chaos Warriors that are a bit obscured by the Minotaur skills. But you could do that if you put any other teammate in the square which the blitzer blitzes from, and then just blitz straight on, you've still got the chain push.
Yeah.
And you get 2 dice, and yeah, look, it's really unlucky. A double skull. It's a 1 in 36, and I will say that Bowen rolls 2 other double skulls in the first 4 turns. So Bowen rolled 3 double skulls in effect in 4 turns, which is awful, right? It's really unlucky. But you still set yourself up for a much worse scenario here, which is what you get. And I don't know if then a bit of tilt sets in, because actually even after this turn, the next round of hits, so if we go to the next slide, they really don't go as bad as they could for the orcs. There aren't in fact, no, hang on, this slide I did as a wanting to not just be picking on Balwin's slide, because I thought that Finn made some questionable choices as well at this point of the game, and
I
this
see
one
you've
was a
circled
really
tackle
simple one.
there.
A really simple one to illustrate. So from that last turn we saw, the Minotaur hits the strength 4 blitzer with claw, knocks it down but doesn't injure it. And then there is a blitz. No, I understand making questionable choices, Finn. I understand you making choices that are not geared towards winning. What I don't understand is, if your goal is to kill things, why would you hit a blodge Black Orc without tackle when you have a piece literally right next to it that has tackle? They're both claw Mighty Blow. So I just wanted to throw this in because I felt like Balwin might be watching and thinking I got punished for everything I did wrong, and Finn didn't. And so I thought I'd put this one in to show that it's not just totally because it has. Up. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, not using tackle here was weird. So let's go to the next slide, because then the next slide I think is where things really sort of tip from bad into fully off the cliff for Baldwin, unfortunately. Yeah, so the beginning of this next turn, the situation is not great. Those hits from Finn still haven't caused a hideous number of removals. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 orcs on the pitch, because there's 1 lying down in the middle of those. In the middle of those Chaos Warriors, sort of close to the ball carrier, there is the best blitzer for the orcs is still lying down. He actually got gang fouled, but it was a snake, so the dirty player for the Chaos got sent off. Yes, thank you, Pointer. But Balwin's first action on this turn was to stand up the 3 players who are all circled in blue. And I just don't like it. I think that you have to really consider your sort of steps here, because you're not in a good position to fight for the ball at all. So your next thought, which I feel like has already been Barwin's thought on some of these plays, should be like, let's not get completely killed. And just by standing all three of those up without moving them, I've sort of marked on there, you've based them on Mighty Blow, Claw Mighty Blow, and Mighty Blow. And I just think that's like going to lead to attrition, which is what it does. And if we skip forward now to the end of this turn, because I think it gets worse, the blitz target makes total sense for me. You have the I've put the symbols back on, but it's really hard to see. I'm sorry, I tried zooming in, but it's really hard to sort of see clearly what everything is here. But the orcs blitz the piece that failed to knock down the black orc, which is a claw pom beastman, got the knockdown, but then again the strategy from here was to base everything up. So the second black orc, which is circled in blue on the left, has come in and based with guard. The other black orc, which just says block, has come to the top of the formation and based up. And then the Mighty Blow Blitzer, who was lying down, has stood up, hasn't used jump up for a 1 dice block, which I would have thought about if you're going to stand it up on the beastman that's next to it. Because again, you could actually get some potential good chain pushes out of that as well. But it stood up and done nothing. So what's going to happen here is
4D chess is going to happen.
There's just not enough guard to lock in all of these hits for the chaos, because the chaos have some guard as well, and they've got a strength 5 minotaur. So what's going to happen on the next turn is pretty much every significant orc is going to get knocked over, and then at the end of it, the jump up killer that was positioned with the 4D chess, as you say,
Yeah.
is going to jump up and is going to injure your best blitzer, your Mighty Blow Blitzer, which would have been safer just lying on the floor. But if it was going to get up, might as well have thrown a block. And I think at this point, like, Balwin basically concedes the game. Balwin, it's a badly hurt, and Balwin has 2 appos, and Balwin doesn't use it. So I was slightly surprised by that choice. Oh, hang on. No, I've got that the wrong way around. That was a KO. The strength up block guard dodge blitzer, who's on the left of the formation, gets hit, I think, by the Minotaur, and that gets badly hurt and doesn't get an Apo. And I felt like that was I felt like maybe it wasn't always the idea for Balwin. Like, maybe Balwin was planning to be more aggressive with those Apos. But I think having taken the 2 Apos, the not using any of them on a badly hurt, on like really valuable pieces as they went off, was probably a mistake, because if you're trying to compete for the game anyway, you need to keep some people around. You still have another Apo. If you're just only worried about, let's just get through this and it doesn't matter if we lose, fair enough. And that's kind of what ends up happening. But yeah, I thought the inducements in general kind of got really badly used by Balwin, because first of all, as I said, didn't put the bomber on for defense where I think it does more. Didn't use the extra Apo at all. In fact, neither Apo then gets used until I think turn 16. He just throws one on a KO because it's turn 16. And then there's a bribe, and the bribe he uses after Finn scores on turn 8, he uses the bribe to keep the chainsaw on the pitch, which means the chainsaw gets one more turn because the removals have already happened.
Yeah.
And so the chainsaw plays one more turn, in which I don't think it does anything. And then the bomber comes on for one turn, then goes off. So you could have held that bribe, not used it on the chainsaw, and at least kept the bomber for the second half. So I don't know if that was just like Balwin was too disheartened to think properly at that point, or what, but that was like another really sort of hard to understand choice. So there were quite a few mysteries in this game for me with Balwin's choices. And it's a shame, because Balwin's obviously done well in some games, but in this one I think there was a lot that was wrong, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like he was very cautious for just a turn and then decided to commit to the brawl anyway. Like, if I go back to his starting position is very defensive. First turn, he pushes entirely to one side. And then after that just goes, I'm going to brawl these chaos.
Yeah, and I think like this is like a sort of a general thing that I think I see a lot with lots of teams in Blood Bowl, and I think probably with orcs, the mentality is really hard to get out of. Sometimes people who play AG3 teams assume that like once you're based, you can't try and dodge. And I think against a team that has this much more killing power than you, it was just a terrible idea to get that tied up. Um, I think you would have been better off trying some of those dodging out to reposition, and if they fail, they fail. But Finn can only foul one player a turn, and his 30 player got sent off the first foul it did, so he's probably not going to keep fouling you. And going 1-0 down isn't a disaster, but going 1-0 down and starting the second half with like 7 or 8 players is pretty bad.
Considering a 3-person
used-
bench, yeah.
Yeah, having used your inducements. And I mean, look, like I think I wanted to say, like Balwin had some really rotten luck. Like I say, 3 double skulls in the first 4 turns. That's awful. The second half started with Finn getting a blitz. There was some really rotten luck for the Orcs.
Yeah, that sounds pretty bad.
But at the same time, like I just think they actually could have had a chance in this game if some of these decisions hadn't been made the way they were. At least of getting a draw. And yeah, that's sort of exactly what you just identified. Like they're sort of going from we're going to be super cautious straight into no, now we're just going to get completely tied up and brawl. That ended really badly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't take anything from the second half. I thought actually Batwin's drive was pretty good for what he had in the second half because he was completely like outmanned and still got the ball into a place where with some lucky dice something could have happened. But yeah, I didn't want to sort of keep going because it felt like it would just get mean at a certain point. So sorry, Batwin. So yeah, that's how it worked out.
So yeah, big 2-0 win for the Chaos. Yeah, anything else standing out in the dice log? Yeah, Orc armor not great, but so much Claw Mighty Blow, kind of expected.
Like I say,
Chainsaw
like the Orc
only
armor,
activated once.
the chainsaw actually KO'd the Minotaur. That was another sort of unfortunate thing. It KO'd the Minotaur when it finally did something, and then the Minotaur came straight back.
No. Yeah.
That was like quite late in the first drive, and you thought, oh, well, at least there's a consolation. But no, straight back for the second half.
These orcs know how to GFI. One of the few orcs in Big O that know how to GFI.
It was a rough day at the office.
Block dice weren't good at all. 20 on the bottom half to 9 on the top half. More skulls than pushes. That's always a bad day at the office.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me though, because yeah, as I say, 3 double skulls in the first 4 turns. Then after that, they were just hard to get blocks.
Finn's block dice a bit above average, but nothing phenomenal. Then pretty standard for his D6s. Pro letting him down a little bit, but yeah. All right, let's have a look at the teams. Where's
I
my
don't
notes?
understand why chainsaw shows up in that log as well as the other one. It's very odd.
It does that for a reason, and I think it's when you hit the chainsaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it has to add the chainsaw modifier for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Does it
The chainsaw
there?
did get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's look at the chaos. So Mittens got niggled. The 4D chest jump up got niggled. And Charlie, I don't know how to say that. Charles has a level. Finn, what is this? What is the legend skill? This is a new legend. Making the 4th legend of this team. Charles is how they pronounce it in Fairytale. Okay. Probably foul appearance. Oh yeah.
It's a fun choice. I still think 2 heads would be amazing, but I can understand foul appearance. Just to be super annoying for teams when they try and hit that ball carrier and then roll that one.
Yeah, I could also see fend. Just because if he's going to be brawling when he doesn't have the ball, that'll mean he's not going to get pommed, but from a return hit.
I still think dirty player for the ultimate power move. The ball
To be
carrier foul.
actually like used, or just as
Yeah.
like I'm just going to add a bloaty skill.
I think the most Finn move would be to be doing ball carrier fouls. That would be a true commitment to the goal that Finn has set himself. Finn, in chat at least, was claiming to be disappointed at the end of this game because the scoreboard was not as exciting as the injuries that hadn't been caused. Because it was mostly badly hurt.
Disappointed with a 2-0 win. Well, some people
Finn Deco
just want to
or
watch the
Win
world
Deco.
burn.
Yeah. Congratulations, though, Finn, on your first win.
I thought it was his second win. His first win or second
I think
win?
the other one was a draw. A draw that felt like a win because Finn got to injure lots of stuff.
Oh, we'll check. I think he's had 2.
I can't remember. Maybe it's 2 wins. I could be wrong.
And for Balwant, we got an MNG block, Ugroth. He is MNG, but otherwise fine. And we had a level on Moxth, who has taken Dirty Player.
I like that. It's good to have. Oh, there's 2 dirty players though. Still okay. Still good to
Yeah,
have.
it's not bad. I probably would have taken another block piece.
Mm.
I think 1 Dirty Player is enough, whilst there's still several other linemen that can level. Yeah, you beat Incesticide. That was it.
Finn has got 2 wins. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Finn's quietly like what 3 games in a row without a loss.
Yeah, you're going to lose your
Okay.
reputation, Finn.
Yeah.
Alrighty, congrats to Finn. And finally, the last game of the round, which I actually cast. It was like mid-afternoon on some day. I don't remember which. It was a very interesting game.
This game did
where am I
not
looking
go
for
as
this
it
one?
was supposed to. This game.
I'm not going to talk about it in depth because if people want to watch it, they can go watch the VOD. I think it's... Oh, it'll be on my Twitch, won't it? Won't be on my YouTube. It'll be back
Oh
on
my god.
the old channel.
Like, I don't understand. One of these teams has Mighty Blow and Piling On. The other team does not. And yet,
Yeah,
the injuries are the wrong way around.
yeah. It was very tight for the first 7 turns. And then I mentioned this to Ultimo at the end of the cast because he jumped in chat. I think we disagree, but I think he made a major mistake. Well, I think he kind of admitted he made a major mistake in miscounting something, but in going for the an incorrect receiver on his turn 8 passing play meant that he ended the half 2-0 instead of 3-2 up. And then
Right.
turn 9 for the Rats got 2 removals, and then turn 10 was another one. They got, I think, a couple of Kaz from blocks, but there was a lot of fouling, and almost every foul sent off an elf in the second half.
It's such a horrific report. 2 dead, a niggle, an armor bust, and an MNG.
It was, yeah, the second half was brutal enough that by about turn 13, Panda could just very comfortably walk the ball down the pitch to score, because it was 2-2 at the half.
I think, yeah, like, Ultimo's lost like 500 TV for next game.
Yeah, it was very brutal. 2 reels in the movement 10 stayed out, yeah. The guard movement 10 catcher stayed out for a while. I think he eventually came back, but it was kind of too late. Or did he stay out the whole time? I don't remember. He stayed out a while. He stayed out when it was important. I remember that. Yeah. So a 3-2 win. Kind of like a more tame scoreline than I was expecting. I was expecting a 5-3 or a 5-4 or something.
Just one turn into one turn. Were there any one turns? Did these go into one turn?
Were there any one turns? No. Maybe one?
Interesting.
I can't remember. I think it was all 2 turns. There might have been one turn by the rats.
Mm.
It was a few days ago now. I can't remember exactly. This game we did 1. Yeah, I think their second score was a 1 turn.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, let me look at that. 5 KOs inflicted, 2 injuries inflicted. Both of them were kills. And that's just on blocks. That doesn't include fouls.
Yeah.
A couple, I think it was only 2, maybe 3 removals in the first half. I think one was the movement 10 KO as well. Most of them came in the second half.
Mm.
Yeah, 5
Yeah, 'cause in
KOs sustained,
total-
7 casualties sustained.
In total, including fouls, there's 7 casualties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal. Absolutely brutal.
It's pretty nasty. You look at the rat block dice, and you're like, wow, those are bad. But their fouling was on point.
I want to get to the team so I can ask which one's staying and which one's going.
Yeah, okay, let's go to the teams. All right, we'll start with Panda. So he had an Agi Gutter get movement busted.
Mm.
And leveled his Blitz up, which now has Mighty
Yeah.
Blow.
You needed that, although apparently you didn't. But
Yeah,
in theory
apparently
you
didn't.
needed. That's a good level. I think you still keep the movement busted Agi 5 because
Yeah,
it's still movement 8. Agi 5 is amazing, so I wouldn't be dropping that.
yeah, you probably turn it into the main ball carrier, even though it's slower. It's still
Yeah.
fast enough, and it means it'll be more protected and won't need to move as far in general if it's going to be making like a quick pass or a handoff.
Yeah, well, you can turn that into basically a thrower on offense.
Yeah.
If you want to. Yeah, we said before, like, it's a team that looks to be beaten up, but it's still got everything it needs to be a competitive Skaven team because it's got a 1-turner, it's got 3 really good gutters. Give it a wizard and things can happen.
Sure can. Sure can. Sure hands for a sack retriever. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's what that
That's
means
what I-
next.
sure hands next skill, I agree.
It'll go something along the lines of sure hands, block, leap in the next 3 skills. Beak hands, yeah.
Give it claw. Don't think so.
Well, I mean, the storm vermin could use claw, but I
Yeah.
don't know about the gutters. Well, could you imagine though, like Agi 5 leaping claw piece?
Oh my god.
Oh
I
my!
don't think I've ever seen a gutter with claw. Yeah, when the team gets claw, it's going to be.
No, I think you specifically meant the gutter. All right, let's have a look at Ultimo's High Elves. Looking a lot trimmer for next week. So we had a dead thrower, but it was the backup thrower. I think he only had dodge. Might have been dodge accurate. I think it was just dodge.
Yeah. I don't know if I had that, did it? I can look on the report.
I'm sure Ultimo will tell us in a few seconds.
No, it's got nothing. It's got absolutely nothing. It's completely rookie.
I must be thinking of Pathor's thrower. There's a dead thrower. There was a dead lineman who was also a rookie, I believe. A AV busted guard catcher.
That one really hurts.
Yeah.
rests as well. It's going to be on the floor. I don't know if you keep that.
Yeah, it's only... Oh, it is level 4. Right, they didn't start with dodge. Yeah, I would probably cycle that probably next week. Build up the cash in case something else dies, like if a blitzer actually dies.
The blitzer, I think you have to keep, but the niggle feels really bad with the piling on.
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah,
are
he's
going to
gonna
foul
get
that.
he's gonna get fouled so much.
I think you have to keep it because it's such a great value to have on an elf team, but you just resign yourself to the fact it's not going to last forever.
I mean, I've been saying a similar thing, Ultimo, with my movement busted, niggled guard catcher. I've been like not caring about him. Just throw him into situations where I need guard, and he's gonna get punched and fouled, and he's somehow still fine. Well, he's fired
You
now.
cut it, didn't you? Yeah,
He
you
was
just cut
fine.
it.
Kind of forgot that I just cut him like 2 hours ago. Yeah, so there was the niggle, there was the MA bust, and 2 deaths. There is something about high elves and dying. Two seasons ago. Was it 2 seasons ago? I think it was. There was a high elf team that had, I think, half the deaths of the div in the first 6 weeks.
Yikes.
They had like 12 deaths in the first 6 weeks or something like that. Not just like movement bust deaths. That was the Div 3 stunty div when you and I were in Div 2 last time.
Yeah,
That was a deadly div.
that was. I remember watching it. It was fun. It was a fun division to not be in.
Yeah. Very much so. No levels, unfortunately, for the high elves. Thrower is close, though. Did he get MNG'd?
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
It's going to be an interesting next game. I mean, this team is still a bit like the Skaven. It can still look pretty good even with the injuries. You've still got movement 10, you've still got strength 4. You've got an agility lineman who could be your thrower.
Yeah. The movement is rapidly approaching its next level. Like this thing gets SVP so fast.
Yeah.
If it survives to protection skills, which hopefully is where you're taking it, I think it'd be a mistake to go straight to like sure feet and sprint. It'll get there. I think it'll get to its even
What
its.
if it rolls strength or agility?
Oh.
strength would be hard to say no to. 'cause
Strength,
10,
I
4, 4,
think you
7,
ignore. Strength, I
think
think
so?
you ignore. Agi, I
10, 4,
might
4,
take.
7? I don't know. I think I'd have a hard time saying no to 10-4, but
When strength makes it 240k for a 10-4-4-7 with guard.
but imagine if then you roll strength and you get strength again at the next level. You could have a 10-4.
Is it magical Christmas land there, Tree?
Just, things can happen.
All right,
Yeah.
let's move on because
One
we've just
throw
about
and
hit
we'll see
2
that.
hours and we still got tips to do.
Yeah, sorry.
Have a quick glance at the leaderboard. We got
Yeah.
Capcaster ahead of Ultimo and Shaitan by 2 points now. Capcaster has slipped into the lead. I believe it was Shaitan at the top before. Maybe? No, that doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Must have been Ultimo at the top. Yeah, it was Ultimo at the top.
I'm starting to feel this momentum for Capcaster. That team looks really good to me.
Yeah, I think those couple losses came early and he's just been on a tear lately.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all still pretty tight at the top.
Yeah.
There's only 4 points between 1st and 8th.
Mhm.
9 points between 1st and 10th. That's really close.
Yeah.
I say 9? I meant 5. I think I said 9. I was reading 3 wins. I was like, that's 9 points. But yeah, less than 2 wins between 1st and 10th. That's super close.
All still to play for. Definitely.
Very interesting. I can't remember what we tipped at the start for who was going to be top 4. I don't know if I had any of these.
I know that I basically split the lizards, so I did like one in the top section, one in the next section, one in the lower section. I can't remember if I had them this way around.
I think my top 4 was Zygmunt, Raker, Walker, and Synergy. I think that was the top 4 I picked.
I'm pretty sure I had Zygmunt up there, and I think I had Synergy up there as well.
It's still very
I'm not
much in
sure about
contention, but someone's got to stop Capcaster before he runs away with it. Alrighty. Speaking of stopping Capcaster, let's go to next weekend tips. Yay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So last week's tips. Tree got 3. I got 3. Chat got 1.
In your face, chat.
Which leaves us Tree on 19, myself on 17, and Chat on 15. I think much closer than Baker's, myself, and Chat last season. I think by about this point, Baker's was ahead of me by like 7 or 8. It was pretty bad. Yeah, it's not. It's yeah. Shut up, Finn. it's now just Chat. There was already Chat here. Get out of here.
Chat.
Okay. Week 8. Lofty against Shytown. We're gonna do these like quick fire because we've already hit 2 hours.
Yeah, it's fine. I will. Really happy to see Lofty get on the board, but Shytown's playing pretty well, so I'm still going with Shytown.
Yeah, same. I think hopefully Lofty does a bit better against this sort of, not agile, but fast, dodgy team than the last one. So I could see a draw happening, but I think Shytown will win it 2-1. What do we think, chat? Just as soon as I say the pairing, start shouting them out. Because with a bit of delay, we'll probably get them perfectly timed. We got 1 for Shytown, we got 1 for Lofty. Who's going to break it?
Come on,
Miracle
Finn.
Run begins. That'll be quite the miracle
Am
run.
I misremembering that Finn refuses to pick games?
We got another 1 for Lofty. Okay.
Okay.
Chat's going Lofty.
All right, Chat. Chat trying to make the big picks come back in the standings.
All right. Incesticide against Raker.
Yeah. Interesting game. Removals could be important. It's a really tricky one, actually. I feel like Incesticide, who I don't think is here, I think he absolutely will back himself. I just worry when I look at this team that the sort of skills it has aren't that flexible. So I think I'm going to go Raker.
Yeah, I think Incesticide might struggle again with only 1 tackle.
Yeah.
The blitzers are going to be hard to take down.
And Fend is kind of annoying when your whole team is built on killing. Like, it's one of those skills that can just slow you down. But on the other hand, like, if Claw Mighty Blow kicks in immediately, like, it could be another rollover.
That's true. I also think Incesticide is very risk averse and tight coach, which is usually pretty good. But when you come against up against a coach that is not afraid to throw lower odds plays that just sometimes work and just tilt you, and I think a little bit of that might happen.
Looks like Chat is getting Incesticide. I see
Alrighty.
Gruff and Ultimo and Finn going against.
Synergy against Balwin.
I'm sorry to say, having said all season I needed to see Bowen, I watched Bowen and I think it's probably a totally unrepresentative sample, but on the basis of what I saw, I think I'm going Synergy because I think Synergy is probably the better coach. Sorry, Bowen.
Yeah, I think Synergy also has a lot of guard now. It's going to help him counteract the strength advantage that Balwin has.
Yeah.
I just think Synergy's a much more consistent coach. That's sort of my take of Balwin from what I've seen is he can play really well. He can kind of play really poorly. He's just quite inconsistent, and it's hard to tell what's going to happen each week.
Darby did suggest that in chat during the stream of the game. He said Bowen, consistency sounds like the issue.
What the? Have a look at this. What? Are you seeing this? Google Docs is suggesting that chat has a pattern.
Oh my god.
Actually, it's just taking all the home teams because they've taken the home teams so far. I thought
we're gonna have to make an extra column for like Google's
there was
algorithm.
some big brain thing going on of it, looked at other weeks and somehow realized it was a tipping competition.
That would be amazing. Then we could compete against Google.
All right. Zygmunt against Panda.
This is a really hard one to call.
Yeah.
On paper, I feel like a Trailstorf team like that should flatten Skaven. But, I mean, enough one-turns. There's going to be a heap of inducements.
Yeah, Panda's going to have so much inducements and still has 2 movement 10 gutters.
Yeah, and Zygmunt hasn't played as tight as I think he should. I think I'm still going to go Zygmunt, but I could definitely see it going the other way.
I think we're
Zygmunt
gonna see a tie. I think it's gonna be a 2-all tie.
I feel like I'm going to take Zygmunt, but if Zygmunt doesn't get this one, I'm going to not be able to back him again for the rest of the season because I keep backing him being wrong.
Yeah. I think there'll be just enough rats on turn 16 for Panda to one turn into a tie.
Yeah.
What are we thinking, chat? We got 1 vote for Zygmunt. What else we got?
Ultimo's gone Panda.
Oh yeah, there. It's just not stupid short. All right.
Who else is here? Raker,
Anybody
make a pick.
gonna break that?
Finn, make a pick.
If not, you get in the tie. I'll type in tie if someone else says something in the next 10 seconds. It might matter. G Doggedy against Ultimo.
Big game, this one. Ultimo's team, as we've just seen, a bit banged up. I think there's still enough there to win, though. I think there's still enough, just having that movement 10, which is obviously sort of steaming along. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the High Elves. Just trying to make a quick decision. I think the High Elves is what my instinct says without looking too deeply at the teams.
I'm trying to remind myself of G Doggedy's team. Which Lizard's team is that?
There's enough tackle on the High Elves to deal with skinks, I think.
That one, okay.
There's going to be at least a couple of merc skinks as well.
Yeah, I think Ultimo will take it. I think it's going to be very tight, though.
Yeah.
Lizards can be quite a problem for elves. If the skinks if the skinks are well protected, it can just be a nightmare.
The thing is, I feel like for a lot of elves, the one turn is probably quite hard against lizards as long as they put all the strength 4 on the line. But these elves have a strength 4 to hit with, and they only need 1 push to get that 10 in range. So.
Yeah, and there's only minimal guard, so it's usually the strength 4 with guard against a 1 turn is quite effective, but considering there's already
Looks
one
like-
on the movement 10. It's going to be next to the thing getting hit.
Looks like another tie for chat because Gruff has said G-Dog and Finn says Ultimo. So unless Ultimo wants to break the tie, either backing themselves or
He says I like my team against skinks. So I think he's
Okay.
going for himself.
yeah.
Alrighty. Walker against Finn.
I mean, I know I just coined Wind Echo this stream, which obviously is going to stick. But I think I think Walker is more focused on winning. So
Don't
so
listen to
Walker
you, Gruff.
is-
You're here. Like anyone who shows up gets a vote in the tips.
That's how that works.
It's the only way that Tree and I actually beat chat is they're completely chaos.
It's very important for our esteem. Oh dear.
There
That's
is
gone badly.
like
I've copy and
three-
pasted and it's coming wrong.
there is 3 Mighty Blow tackles on the Chaos team. It's missing one of their killers, but in this matchup, it's got the better one because it has tackle.
Yeah. But you can't play 4D chess with that.
I hate not backing Walker, but
I mean, that Minotaur could wreak absolute mayhem. String 5 and tackle.
yeah, he's got a good amount of tackle. He has a lot of Mighty Blow. The claw is bloat for this matchup,
Yeah.
but there's actually not that much of it.
You're right about the tackle. There is more tackle than I
I'm gonna back Finn.
Oh my god, Finn! Finn and Gruff mean that chat is also picking Finn.
All aboard the Finn train. And final game of the week,
It's
Pathor
What a
against
big game
Capcast.
for Walker, actually, because I think Walker needs to win this to sort of really push on towards the
Yeah, he really does.
playoffs. A lot of inducements. What they
Well, that's a win for you, Finn, you know.
what do the Amazons take with like 500 worth of inducements? I mean, I guess a wizard. Normally, I would say you would take Zara, but is she worth it against this amount of tackle?
Maybe Roxana? Is that the name? The Agi
Oh
5?
yeah, that's and the movement's really nice. Let's go with the
Yeah.
wizard as well. Yeah, that's a good shout. Or just take Morgenthau because it's fun.
Yeah. Or bribes and even more bench.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Morgenthau will just die, to be honest. There's
me
enough
too.
guard and strength that if he's not attacking first, he's going to die turn 1 or turn 2.
Yeah,
Alright, Pathor against Cap.
I'm all aboard the Capcaster. Win the division bandwagon now. I think I'm believing in the Capcaster hype.
I think I agree. I think Pathor had a great game against Sigmund, but then a pretty poor game against Lofty, so I think it's going to be... He's just inconsistent and hard to tip.
Yeah. Sorry, my keyboard's being in pain, so I was just waiting for you so I could copy. Copy and paste.
Ultimo is fully backing his High Elf brethren.
So 1 and 1.
Yeah, who's going to break it? Finn, you going to break the tip? If not...
You're using the right language here. Finn, you can break something.
if not, you guys are getting a tie. Nope, he's not gonna. Okay. All right, that is tipping for the week. Let's jump back to here. That's the recap. Thank you very much for joining me,
Yes.
as always, Miss Tree.
Thanks. And, for fans of this combination, we're playing in Div 2 this week, so we're going to co-cast it at some point.
Yeah.
Look out for that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Come, those of you who've sat here and felt aggrieved at our critiques of your play can come and watch us on stream make terrible decisions and heckle us.
and try and justify them.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for coming on over to the new platform that this is on. I would appreciate a subscription. They're free here. You don't have to pay to subscribe like you do on Twitch. It's basically the same as a follow. And that always helps. And that way you can see, and if you click the bell, you can get notifications about when I'm streaming other things. Mostly Blood Bowl, to be honest. Yeah. Always good. I think we're going to be at least trying YouTube streaming for at least a few months, see how it goes. Various reasons. I've talked about that in other streams. I won't talk about it at length in a recap. Hot damn. Tomo subscribed. Thank you very much, Tomo. But yes, that is the end of the recap. And we will see you guys next time.